Ano, I Belina Aloha, and welcome back to Kumu Facts Views. We're gonna do another hula video impression. I believe the Merrie Monarch caught all of the illegal uploads. Sorry, I have a cough drop in my mouth. Um, so there's really no full videos of some of the requests that was put in. If you guys know where the full videos are, let me know. Send me the link and I'll go and do it. But as the title says, we're going to go all the way back to 2006 because this was one of the requested videos. 2006, 7, and 8, I believe, of the Academy of Hawaiian Arts was requested. So I'm going to start at 2006 because this was personally my favorite. And I believe it's my all-time favorite of the Academy of Hawaiian Arts. So let's go ahead and watch it and let's enjoy it.
Black sandy shores of Punaluu in Ka'u, Hawaii.
Okay, we're gonna stop and talk a little bit about um the hula so far. You know, in all my years of dancing and teaching and watching, I think this what really captured my attention to this mele when they did it was how they sat in the noho papio style. You see how they're sitting with one leg out that the punio is tied to, and then the other leg in. That is normally it's done in a sitting style when a wahine is a ho'opa'a. They chose to sit like this to hula. I thought that was very creative and innovative. The way they move around on the stage, right? They don't sit still. They move their legs, they turn their bodies from the front to the back, and then they come right back to the front in their original sitting position. Innovative, creative. I thought that was fabulous. Is it what the traditionalists like to see? Most likely not. Again, it's back to preference. It's back to what really is tradition, right? And when they come out and do this kind of hula noho with the puniu, and it's different, sometimes it's frowned upon. But the mele itself is, I'm not sure if Kumu Mark wrote it. I never got a chance to ask him. But Mele No Kauila takes us to Punalu'u on the Big Island, right? Where we talk about a sea turtle named Kauila. And the first couple of verses, we're just introducing you to the area of Punalu'u, right? A little bit backstory, right? This is from what I can remember when I was told about this story. Kauila was this mythical um, sea turtle. Her mom was Honu Po'okea, and her dad was Honu Ea, right? And Honu Ea, he had a reddish, rusty color shell, and Honu Ea had this, not Honu, Honu Po'okea, right? Po'okea, like this. If you look at just the translation of that name, right? White head, right? So it said that she had this snowy white head, like the snows of Mauna Kea. And they together created Kauila. So in the beginning of this mele, they just pretty much introduced you to the area and introduced you to, I think when they made a circling motion, they talked about the Bay Area, but also turtles when they create their nests. They create it like a circle, like an island, right? And then they kind of go into that circle. But let's go back to the hula. That was just a little bit background of what they're dancing about. They're dancing about Kauila, and I gave you a little bit background of who she was and where her origins come from.
Hinu hinu iku na ogara. Oh lokai. Ebiani wai. Wai orari mahana no. Eluhi eluhi na tuoi. Hinu hinu iku na ogara.
What a way to start the second half.
Okay. That is my all-time favorite from the Academy of Hawaiian Arts, honestly. And you heard how silent the crowd was, and then how they bursted into cheers, not cheers, cheers at the end of it, because I think a lot of us at that time was in awe of not just the dance, but his voice. It's very soothing. And before that, his voice was very bombastic, like punching your face action, and everybody loved that, right? But for him to come out with something so soothing and so nani, people were shocked. He also didn't wear his sunglasses. That was the very first, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, last time he didn't wear his sunglasses. He was being, he used the hula pahu and he didn't use his sunglasses. But back to the hula. um, Punalu'u, sorry, in the mo'olelo, Punalu'u was given the name because of Kauila. She brought fresh water to that area. She was responsible for bringing fresh water to that area. That she had that mystical being of her, right? And so the name Punalu'u comes from, Lu'u means to dive. Puna meaning that fresh water source. So people used to dive down and collect that fresh water source from the bottom of this pond area that was known for Kauila. And so in there's a verse that said Ua Ola, and then they talked about Kalehulehu, Kapo'e, Kamali'i. She brought life to that area through that fresh water spring that they're talking about. You heard the father's name mentioned in one of the verses, Honu'ea, again, because Kauila, again, she carried that reddish color shell. And apparently the skin area was very pretty. So they mentioned Honu'ea, they mentioned Launiu. This area is beautiful and surrounded by coconut trees. And they also mentioned the Kamali'i because Kauila was a guardian of that area, of Punalu'u. And so people were safe, right? Their kids were able to live freely and to play freely because she was there to protect them. Her mystical being is there. And today, the sea turtles are freely go into the area and they bathe, they sunbathe, and they just mali in the area because no one's going to disturb them, no one's going to bother them. So, Mele No Kauila, again, a mele that uses the entire body from a noho position. The extension of their arms, the movement of their legs, their core area, how they lean, all examples of how the imagery of how Kauila would be just nanea vale, just relaxing, like valea, just relaxing and letting it all go, because that's the imagery that they presented on that stage. And I remember back then, I was much younger. I remember back then a lot of the complaints from my kumuhula that I was dancing with at that time. I remember the hula community that I was kind of a part of at that time was up in arms about it because of how they sat, how they moved, and then there was those on the side like um, who was like, "Wow, that's very creative and innovative." I was one of those like, "OMG, I never seen a hula punio done this way. It's very, very innovative and the aha way." So that is not a traditional view of a hula punio, but it was a creative and innovative way to present it. And the mele was very nani, every time I try to just listen to the words and catch everything that they're saying, that he is saying, plus the when the haumana respond, I could really understand the story from their point of view, and they told it very well. They took us to Punalu'u. They showed us the imagery, how beautiful, or the swaying of the coconut trees and its leaves, and the preparing of the shore, and Honu'ea. They made mention of her dad and how they made mention of her protecting this area and protecting the children of the area, and how she brought a lot of wealth to the area, because why? Water is wealth. And so they were abundant with that fresh spring water, and I can talk on and on, but this is my absolute favorite from the Academy of Hawaiian Arts in Kumuhulu Mark Kelly Ho'omalu 2006, Merrie Monarch, Mele No Kauila. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and if you want to leave a comment, leave a comment. I'm going to go and respond to comments later on today, so if you're waiting for a response, I'm coming, don't worry. Anyways, take care, stay safe, stay healthy. Aloha.